Prayer 3 is hereby expunged.
We should look forward how to bring back that Simon Ekpa to Nigeria.
The Senate is aware that thousands of innocent lives have been lost since this action of sit-at-home in the Southeast started, and properties worth over $1 trillion have been destroyed, which has resulted in investors leaving the region. Further aware that the sit-at-home civil disobedience action in the Southeast has led to the disruption, vandalization, disruption of economic activities, as well as immeasurable financial losses for businesses, workers, and the total economy of the Southeast. Because of this, when people are forced to stay at home and businesses remain closed, productivity declines and income is reduced, thereby affecting the livelihoods and the general economic growth of the region. The Senate notes that the sit-at-home protest disrupt the education of our children, leading to missed classes and delays in academic programs. And such prolonged disruptions have long-term effect on students' learning outcome and educational development. Mr. President, the Senate is disturbed that disruption of essential public services, such as health care, that if you are sick on such a day, you may not even be able to see a hospital that will attend to you, and this might result to death. Transportation and waste disposal continues to have severe impact during the sit-at-home protests, which adversely affect the well-being and safety of the general population living in the Southeast. Mr. President, the Senate is further disturbed that the sit-at-home protest continues to lead to an act of violence and clashes with law enforcement agencies, which has led to uncountable loss of lives of innocent persons, security agents, and protesters. As this increases the potential for criminal elements to take advantage of the situation to engage in looting or other unlawful activities, while the people stayed at home and watched helplessly. Mr. President, the Senate is worried that if the activities of Simon Ekpa, who is issuing the illegal sit-at-home order, is not checked, he may succeed in corrupting the minds of Nigerian youths and turning them against the government of Nigeria. Accordingly, the Senate resolved to condemn the sit-at-home in totality, as well as the nefarious activities of Simon Ekpa, who is the gang leader. 3, urge the federal government to use political solution and approach in handling the case of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And finally, invite the Minister of Foreign Affairs, when appointed, or at best, the Permanent Secretary of Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and relevant stakeholders to carry out thorough investigation, as well as bring other sponsors of the art to book.
By Engineer Benga Daniel, representing the people of Remo and Ijebu in Ogun East Senatorial Districts. I'd like to respectfully second this motion that the Senate should positively consider these prayers, but with the kind permission of the Senate President, make a few comments. Mr. President, sir, the problem that has been ably enunciated by distinguished Senator Osita Izunaso and all the other senators, especially from the Southeast, is indeed a national problem. Mr. President, it is common knowledge that our brothers from the Southeast largely hold the commerce of this great country. It is indeed common knowledge that while we continue to insist that our country will only move forward if we begin to localize production and consume things that are made here in Nigeria. It is a common knowledge that it is indeed from this location that giant strides are being made to make so many things which are now becoming international standard in our great country. If commerce, therefore, is shut down in this part of the country, I'm afraid it indeed a national problem that I think should be treated as a national challenge. Mr. President, sir, quite a number of innocent people have fallen victims. I recall with great sadness that a great friend of mine, Ahmed Gulag, was allegedly shot, though unproven, by people who have been trying to enforce this sit-at-home order. I therefore want to urge our colleagues to do everything that is possible to put a stop to this national malaise that has the capacity, if not checked, in grounding the whole nation economically. I so support the motion.
I want to thank the mover of this motion and the rest of us, plus all those others who have risen in support of this motion. And I also want to thank my good friend OGD for helping to make it known to everyone that this is a national problem. First of all, I will crave the indulgence of my colleagues to go back to history, because my people have a saying, if you don't know where the rain started to beat you, you will not know when it will have also ended. This matter of sit at home started in 2021, August 2021, when the agitation group called IPOB insisted that they will go on a sit at home because of their leader held in prison in the DSS. 3 weeks later, when the effect of the criminal takeover of this started to manifest, this same IPOB came out and said that they are no longer supporting sit at home, that they will have stopped. Unfortunately, very unfortunately, the genii had been removed from the bottle, and all manners of criminal elements had taken over and now use the sit at home to kill, to maim, to burn houses, to kill policemen and all manners of innocent people. When that continued, by December of 2021, and I need for everybody to know this, in company of former Senator and our former Deputy Senate President, Ike Ekweremadu, 2 bishops, and the Secretary of Ohaneze. I went with them to meet with their leader, Nnamdi Kanu, in the DSS headquarters. And there, we pointedly asked him, why did you institute this menace that is crippling the Southeast? He denied and said that the person who is going ahead and insisting that he's doing sit at home on his behalf is somebody called Simon Ekpa, living in Finland, and that he never authorized that. And that actually, the person he says that ought to represent him is another person, and he called the person's name, Chike Edozian. We came back from that meeting in DSS, called a meeting of all the leaders of the Southeast, and said, this is what Nnamdi Kanu says, that he is not part of this. Yet, every Monday, what happens is this. A few miscreants, and I use the word advisedly, come out, shoot and kill 1 or 2 people, and run away, and video it and send across the whole of the Southeast, and everybody is now scared. The governors we met, all of us in the National Assembly we have met, everybody has condemned it. I need the Senate to know that there is no one in the Southeast except the criminals who support this sit-at-home. Their modus operandi is simple. It's just terror. I have called the market leaders in Abia, and I said, you can't continue to stay away. And they told me that the people have threatened to burn their markets at night if they don't stay away. So this is beyond the citizenry coming out to just say, we don't accept it. Because what they have done is to use terror tactics to intimidate a whole region. And we have had meetings with the DSS, and all that the DSS has told us is, listen, these are just a few people. They will come out in one road, they will find somebody just driving along on his way to doing anything, shoot him, and then they will say it is because of sit at home. Take his car away, go and keep it in their den, and later go and sell it. So these are nothing but criminals. So I support this motion, and especially the matter concerning someone who is a dual citizen of Nigeria and Finland, staying in Finland, giving orders, and in fact, giving, I will say, orders that you don't understand why people should accept it here. But then, criminals will always find a reason to do what they want to do. I have also had interactions with the Finnish embassy, and in fact, the United Nations head in Nigeria, who is from Finland. And what she told me was, it is a government-to-government interaction that will lead to a resolution of this, because as a citizen of Finland, that he has a right to express his opinion. But I can tell you, my dear colleagues, each and every one of us has suffered greatly from what is happening in the Southeast. They attacked Senator Kalu when he was doing campaigns. They attacked me. There's nobody they have not tried to intimidate. But we cannot be intimidated because we are in a country that has rule of law. And so I support this motion in its entirety. And when the time comes for the prayers, if there's anything I will add, we will. But we want to urge our colleagues and the rest of Nigeria to see this matter not just as a Southeast matter, but as a matter for Nigeria. I so submit.
Very distinguished. This is localized. If you are talking about a group of criminals who come out like, guerrilla warriors, hit and run away, if they are brought to book, paraded in the open on television, and then they are interviewed, and the citizens know that the governments of their various states are up and doing, it might be a major solution. That's what I'm asking. You know why? Because if the governor of the state himself obeys the sit-at-home on Monday, and then the civil servants that work in government house obey the sit-at-home, and government shut down on Mondays, it means the real governor of Southeast is Simon Ekpa, ruling the Southeast from Finland. So I want to know, and let me ask the former governor of Southeast, what has the government or governments of the various states of the Southeast done to stem this menace? Distinguished Senator Ojus Okalu.
Okay, thank you, Mr. President. I think I want to first of all thank the mover of the motion and thank Senator Benga Daniel and the Senator Abaribe. The Abaribe have given what the problems looks like. I also need to thank our armed forces because our armed forces have done very well. Without our armed forces, you will not be coming out in that region. This was when General Lagbaja was the GOC. Those boys ran away, and when he left, they came back. So we need to have another GOC that will look like Lagbaja. That is the truth. If the former governor of Ebonyi is here, he was a governor then. I wasn't a governor, but I was mostly at home, and I saw what they were doing. These boys have caused an industrial problem in our area. In where he represents Senator Abaribe, they are mainly manufacturers. In Aba is a manufacturing house. None of the industries can open. People have suffered so much. Although, like what you said, as a governor, if I am still a governor, what I would have done is to find a solution within the Southeast governors. The Southeast governors need to drive the system. It's not the work of the president. I've said it time without number. When we are governors, these people also started doing something like that. Their leader then, I sent him away back to his state in Igbo. I said, you cannot do it in Aba. I will not be here, you will do it here. You must do it in your village, not here. He moved to Okwe, in his village, in Igbo state of Igbo. So the Southeast governors have a lot to put in. In my opinion, it's a security matter. I can brief you privately. It's not what I can come up here to give out all the solutions, because I gave a lot of tips to the then GOC and the then Chief of Army Staff, and they use it and they come the bush. These boys are in the bush causing trouble. Just 2 days ago, they killed so many people along Ubudochi local government on the Ihube area of Okigwe area. So this motion is not what will come out here and put all the solutions and the problems in the public. It's something we need to brief the security agencies. They will be able to man out strategy on how to dismantle these boys. Over 7 trillion naira has gone because all the manufacturing houses are down in Aba. People in Niger, people in Maiduguri, people in everywhere, they used to go to Aba to buy goods. And they're no longer going because you can't cross the expressway. You can't even go by road. These boys are hijacking the trailers. The other day, they hijacked the luxurious bus going from Aba to Maiduguri. And luckily, the army intervened. The new brigade commander that just reported about 1 week ago was able to intercept those people. And they took back the boys they hijacked in the bus. So it is like Senator Abaribe says, it's no longer IPOB or anybody. It's criminality. Criminals have turned on how to do their jobs by going to take cover or sit at home. They bought part of my factory the other day. They bought, in the campaign period, they attacked both of us. But we responded because it's a duty that we cannot run away from our land. Nobody can pursue us out of our land. So the governors are major problem. They must stand up and work with the security agents. It's not wanting to blame governor of Abia or governor of Enugu or governor of Anambra or Igbo or Ebonyi. No, they must come together to fight together, to clean them up together, and to be able to get a solution. So, Mr. President, I want to thank you for calling me, but do look this way always. More. Stop looking that way. Look this way.
The situation we find ourselves in the Southeast is in the way that people are being kept under siege against their wish. They remain at home. Now activities in the Southeast, when this order is being given, sometimes it lasts more than a week, and people are forced to remain at home. I'm interested because governors have been mentioned here. I happen to be a local government chairman before now, and I know the challenges, the enormity of the challenges we find ourselves. Governors are doing their best. This has defied so many solutions raised up by the governors. A situation we find ourselves that these hoodlums will come out, confront the security agents, and then we'll have a shootout. Mr. President, I hope you're listening. Yes. Thank you. If I'm protected.
Distinguished Senator. Distinguished Senator Eze. Yeah, address the chair.
By the governors. A situation that they will come out from their hideout, hold the whole state at ransom. They will be moving from police station to police station, burning the police station, confronting these security agents. They will pull out all their ammunition, and sometimes they overpower the security agent and still burn their station, kill the policemen, kill the soldiers. They will hold the state at ransom for good 4 hours, killing, moving from one section to the other, destroying, burning properties. We will call for reinforcement from security agents. They will come, they will be repelled. That is the seriousness of the situation, Mr. President. I would want a situation that the federal government would take this case as a matter of urgency that need immediate attention, so that it will not look as if they have overpowered the security agents. In my own police station, they came in, they killed 6 policemen, burned the police station down. It is not as small as it is being presented in this hallowed chamber. It is more serious. And the situation will try to defy the order. People that made that attempt will be killed. You try to take your children to school. you will be killed with your children and your family in the car. And these people will walk away like that. Tomorrow, there will be directive, nobody should sit at home. Nobody will obey the order. Those that try to defy that order will be killed. It's not as if they'll be spared. And all the states have their operation, channel of the operation in every state. They have their camp in every state, not one, not two. But the security agents dare not go there. Even when the information are being given to them, they do not get there. So it is very serious, Mr. President. Let's take this matter as a matter of urgent public concern and fashion out a solution, serious solution, not group of hoodlums. These are group of cabals, or may I call it group that are obedient to Simon Ekpa. They have their head in every state in the southeast, and are functioning. They live in the bushes there. So I want to submit here, please, the matter should be taken more serious than is being presented in this House chamber. It has defied the solution of the state governors. Let the federal government intervene.
In the southeast, if this situation is allowed to linger, the welfare of the citizens are already being affected, and their lives are not safe. One of my senators from my community in Akwa Ibom sent his chief of staff to go to Anambra State. He did not know that that was a sit-at-home day. The chief of staff was killed, and about 4 people in his convoy murdered. So it is not something that is affecting only the southeast. It's affecting the whole Nigeria. Because people go for marriages, they go for functions, and even transporters and commuters who pass through the southeast are also in danger, because you may not know the day that Simon Ekpa has given instruction that nobody should go out. That's why we are spending time to discuss this issue. It's a very serious issue. The economy of the southeast used to benefit the economy of the south-south, and vice versa, and the entire Nigeria. People used to travel all the way from Lagos to buy things in Onitsha, and to also buy things in Aba, but those things are being disrupted. So it's almost becoming a national menace. That's why the Senate is wasting time to discuss it. We want to find solutions. As the Senate President, the first question I asked, which I asked the Civil Senator, Ojus Okalo, what has been the role so far of the various state governments? They can't continue to have security votes, sit down, come to Abuja every month and go back home and obey Simon Ekpa. And then they themselves don't go to work. They tell their families not to go to work. And they move around, like you said, burning police stations from one police station to the other. This must stop. Nigeria is not a banana republic. So, Senator Ifeanyi Ubah, you've had an experience because you were once attacked. I want us to provide solutions in this motion, practical solutions. And then our committee on legislative compliance will also go ahead after we have communicated our resolutions here to find out the compliance, to find out what the security agencies are doing. The communities must be brought in. The local governments must come in. The state governments must also come in. And you must host stakeholder summit on security in the entirety of the Southeast region and invite even those of us who are also affected to be there. It's not something we can gloss over. We must bring it to an end. You have something to add?
We are all co-sponsors of these motions. It's very, very important, Mr. Senate President, that we take this motion as one of the most important motions that is facing Nigeria today, outside poverty motions. Mr. President, I don't think it's very, very right for a country like Nigeria to be going through this, and we have not been able to ascertain the status of this young man that is in Finland, giving orders, trying to harm people. There is nothing big in what he's doing. He's only using the social media, the advent of social media, to scare people away. You kill somebody in Abia, the entire country is looking at it. There is no monopoly. Anybody can cause harm to people, shooting people at random, people that are unprepared. He is just a murderer, killing people. Mr. President, it may interest us to know that the governor of Enugu State, after the last 2 days, has taken a drastic measure to seal shops of those who continue to obey the sit at home. And he's doing it, even though there's a bit of harmful, little resistance from people trying to, which they have, they ignited to protest. But he's adamant, we'll continue to fight it. Like Abaribe said, since Abaribe said, we will work with the state governments. I don't know what their security vote is doing for. If they can use their security vote to equip the local vigilante. In my own local government, Mr. President, it may interest you to know that we've been able to nip them. Going to 4 months now, there is no single incident of kidnapping in my local government in Nnewi North. And I wish that I will work hand in hand with the state government to see how we can spread the same thing, the prototype, the same kind of prototype, which the Chief of Army Staff said before the entire Senate here, even in my absence, a few days ago. Appreciating what I have done in my local government, the Chief of Army Staff. So, Mr. President, if the Chief of Army Staff can appreciate what I have done in my absence when he was called to, during his confirmation, then the entire region, the governors, should come up clean with their security votes and see how we can get these things out of us. We used woods across the whole local government, that anywhere there's an incident, we block the entire road. And then local vigilante will get to the scene within 3-4 minutes. And it has worked. And I believe if we use that prototype, we'll be able to nip this issue. But the most important thing is to use our international, our security agencies, the diplomatic missions, to invite the ambassador of Finland to know why such a fugitive should be in their country and be giving orders to our country. It is very important that the Senate committee or an ad hoc committee should be set to invite the ambassador or invite the minister or permanent secretary of Ministry of Foreign Affairs so that we will know the status of that fugitive in Finland.
Mr. President, today in the Southeast, we are living under very serious threat. These young men who have taken over the Southeast, they have used Monday, which is a very critical day, where people need to go to market, where market women who want to go and sell their wares, which they have kept over the weekend, on Monday. Now, Monday has been classified as sit at home, and everybody is suffering it. Mr. President, insecurity anywhere is a threat to peace everywhere. So I am happy that Senator Gbenga Daniels has captured this situation in the Southeast as a national problem. The welfare and security of Nigerians, including the people of the Southeast, is the responsibility of government. Mr. President, a situation where you have some of these hoodlums, we have said earlier that the agitation that started in the Southeast has been taken over by unscrupulous elements. A situation where these boys will come out on the streets and dance naked, and there's no response to the mayhem that they are unleashing on the people. We must talk to our security people. You've talked about the governors. We must ensure, Mr. President, from experience, that we set up a rapid response mechanism so that we respond to some of these attacks, especially by our security agents. And Mr. President, it is also very important to say here today that a political solution to the release of the leader of the IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, should also.
Let me distinguish Senator Ezenwa.
When your nose starts crying, your eyes will also be crying. That is to say, what is happening in Imo, in Southeast, is affecting the whole Nigeria, captured by His Excellency Senator Benga Daniel. I think what we should look for is the solution. And that solution is what we'll advise the federal government to look into. We realize that the economy of the Southeast is going down, and it's affecting the GDP of the whole federation. You mentioned that you asked a question of what the governors have done. I'm from Imo State. It may interest you. I'm the only Igbo for Okigwe for 30 years now. Our own governor, I know how much he has put into the security issue. Even when you are forcing people not to obey, you are even pushing them against their own lives, because these people will be killing them. And even when you are arming youths in the villages or communities, you are also training them tomorrow that they might also, when they start another thing, they use that what training you have given to them to fight the government again. So one, what we should look into, what can bring peace to the place and to Nigeria? Just like we will look into the Northeast, what can bring peace? We can't be always voting money into these security issues, and it goes nowhere. Nigeria remains undeveloped. I will say, please, nobody is going into judicial issues that may be sub judice here. When we talk of political solution, give idea how political solution can be used. If the court have granted bail to somebody, our president, we can urge him to hide under that bail and use political solution and release that man. One. Two, we don't need to wait for the ministers or Minister of Foreign Affairs to have been appointed and sworn in. In absence of the Minister of Foreign Affairs, somebody has been there managing our foreign affairs. We have ambassador in Finland. We have PAMSEC in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. They should come here and brief us. They know the diplomatic situation, relationship between Nigeria and a Finnish country. How do we go about it? One, if you release Nnamdi Kanu today, that problem may go down. Two, even if he cannot go, we should look forward how to bring back that Simon Ekpa to Nigeria. Nnamdi Kanu has spoken before that he cannot kill the people he said he wants to come and save.
Those in support of prayer want to say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 2. Urge the federal government of Nigeria to collaborate with the Finnish government with a view to extraditing the said Simon Ekpa for possible prosecution. Those in favor of prayer 2 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 3. Urge the federal government to use political solution as an approach to handling the case of Nnamdi Kanu. Those in favor of prayer 3 say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. Yes. Yes, point of order.
We are an institution of rule of law. If I have your permission to read, Mr. President, I will read.
Please read.
Order 52 sub 5 says reference shall not be made to any matter on which a judicial decision is pending in such a way as might, in the opinion of the President of the Senate, prejudice the interests of parties thereto. The interests here, the parties here, Mr. President, are the federal government of Nigeria on the one hand and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu on the other hand. This matter is sub judice. I am not opposed to our adopting political approach, but it cannot be a matter for a resolution on the floor of the Senate. I so submit, sir.
We cannot ask the courts to drop their case against Nnamdi Kanu and adopt a political solution. So we have not ruled on prayer 3. So your point of order is sustained. You see that this motion concerns not just the Southeast region, but concerns the entirety of Nigeria, because insecurity anywhere is a threat to security everywhere. And the entire country has been suffering as a result of the menace of these unknown gunmen in the Southeast. Yes, indeed, we must provide solutions even outside these chambers. We must also talk to our security agents and also bring up other solutions that we think, anything we think can help to bring this situation to an end, because it's affecting the gross domestic product of this country, affecting lives, affecting properties, and creating a state of fear that some of the citizens are not able to engage even in farming and their usual trade. And it has increased hunger in the land. So thank you so much for bringing this, and I thank my colleagues for all their contributions. With sadness, the mindless killings in the Southeast condemns such, and hereby pray to Almighty God that the souls of all those who have lost their lives should rest in perfect peace.